What is the governor's thoughts on this revenue sharing issue and the complaints we're hearing today?
Sure. We appreciate everyone's comments here today. We appreciate the mayors, the business leaders coming out and talking about this. This is obviously a very sensitive issue. We put forth a draft alternative. As you all know, when budget negotiations are taking place, a lot of discussions go on. One of the alternatives that we put forth was, what if we delayed payments of the local distributive share? It was a delay, not an elimination. Right now they're paying through January. So we put forth a proposal saying, what if we delayed it a little bit? How would this help get other people paid? Many people are waiting 6 months for payment. They were paid through January. So what if we delayed it a little bit to help get caught up on some of these other people's payments? It was never an idea to eliminate. Of course, this information got out. Everybody has concerns about it, but that's not our proposal. Our proposal was just to possibly, as an alternative to budget crisis, delay it for a little bit.
As an alternative to what? What was the governor saying?
Really, Chris, an alternative just with budget negotiations. How can we get our bills paid? We want to get the debt restructuring. We feel that's the best way to pay our bills. Get the debt restructuring. Then delays wouldn't have to be done. That's what our proposal is. And that's what we wanted all along. Let's get the debt restructuring, get people to jump on board with the debt restructuring, and then we can get people paid, get down to an appropriate payment cycle instead of people waiting 6 months and even January like local distributive share. Let's get everybody paid, restructure our debt at lower interest rates, and get people paid.
Is this even still in the... I've read through the House, I've read through the Senate. I didn't see this. Yeah. Is this what you guys are bringing to the table when you sit down with the president and the speaker?
Many options are brought to the table. This was something that was discussed a few weeks ago with a small group. What if we did something like this? What would be the thoughts here? It's not something that's on the forefront.
What's your handicap? Is this a 30% chance this actually happens? A 2% chance this happens?
Ben, it's really too early to even speak on it because everything's ongoing right now.
And I just want to clarify, this is not in the versions of the budget that the House and Senate passed?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
The governor's proposed budget?
Not at all. Not at all. Again, as budget negotiations are going on, our plan is to get the debt restructuring. That's what we want to do. And so this was something that we came up with. What if we took a look at this? A draft alternative, just like many things that are discussed.
There are rallies and news conferences galore today with people having similar comments. At this late stage, where the House and Senate have already passed versions of the budget,
right,
do you see any chance that these cuts can be reversed?
Cuts overall?
Yeah.
Well, as you all know, the House and Senate put forth two different budgets that are very far apart. We're taking a look at all of those numbers. We're having our analysts review them and see how they can fit into the final budget. But, time is going to tell what's going to happen. But, of course, we hear from people every day. Don't cut us. Cut here, cut there. We have a fiscal crisis in our state. We need to make reductions. We're trying to live within our means, but we also want to protect our most vulnerable citizens, public safety, and educate people and create jobs. So it's a difficult process.
The governor's budget would cut less than the other two versions.
Right.
So by having these groups here today, do you think that helps build support for what the governor has proposed? Does it help him in negotiations with the legislature?
Well, overall, we want to hear from people in the state of Illinois. These are people's lives we're talking about when we talk about making reductions. We want to hear from them. We want them to express their feelings to legislators to let them know what these cuts are going to mean to them. But the facts are we have to live within our means. So we have to make reductions. Everyone's going to have to take a hit, but we're also trying to protect things that are important to us.
Should these local communities do what lawmakers had to do and address their revenue problems, or should they just wait and see sort of how it shakes out? I mean, the state, I think, came to the realization that just simply moving the deck chairs around wasn't going to do it. They had to make big cuts and raise revenue. Is that the advice you would give to some of these people, even though they say the last thing they want to do is raise taxes at the local level?
Yeah, well, Ben, I don't want to give them advice. I mean, what they think, they feel that they've made the reductions. They feel that they've lived within their means. Again, from our standpoint, we want to continue with the process, the things that we've been doing. Our alternative before was just a delay in this. I understand where they're coming from. They think they're already living within their means, so it's not for me to offer them advice.
Has the governor sat down with President Cullerton and the speaker? Is there a leaders meeting, and sort of where are the talks? How hard is the governor trying to bring the speaker up in his spending numbers?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, the governor would like to do that, but for certain. He's been meeting with Madigan and Cullerton, discussions pretty much daily, so we can come up with some sort of agreement.
Is there any sort of a number the governor wants up? 10%, 5%, 34 billion, 375? Are there numbers, or is it just still the I want to spend more, you want to spend less?
Well, we proposed our budget. That's the budget that we feel is best for the citizens of Illinois. That's what we would like to see take shape. But of course, there were different budgets put forth by the Senate and the House, and we're working with them to see what we can come up with.
Is there a process that's been agreed to yet on how to work this out? Is there going to be a conference committee, or is it going to be leaders' meetings? How are we going to do it?
We've heard conference committee, but again, time's going to tell. We'll see.